an all-new episode of Hanging with the Dreamer every Monday at 12 noon. Available wherever you stream.
Metal Babe Mayhem is more than just an online store. It's a destination.
Shine a light on me when I'm scared of the dark.
MetalBabeMayhem.com carries over 150 rock and roll products, including clothing, jewelry, and accessories.
For good and not for greed.
All right, everybody. It's that time. It's Friday. Time to sit up. Raise your glass if you got it. Raise a toast to rock and roll. It is time. I am the Dreamer. This is my show, Hanging with the Dreamer. Thank you, everybody who's coming in right now. And before I bring my guest, Mr. Roland James, out from the green room, who is waiting so kindly and so patiently for me to bring him out, I just want to say a couple things real quick, and I'm not going to take up too much of Mr. James's time. But I do want to say, first of all, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of my supporters. For all the people on Facebook, all the people on Twitter, all the people everywhere on social media that tag me, that tag my show here, Hanging with the Dreamer, that tag my business, The Dreamer's Life, and that tag my show like page on Facebook, like page of Hanging with the Dreamer. I just want to say thank you for everything that everybody has been doing, and I just have a couple of big shout outs. But before that, I just want to say that if you're looking for authentic band merchandise, look no further than metalbabemayhem.com, your one-stop shop for all custom jewelry and clothes, both hard rock and heavy metal. Check out metalbabemayhem.com. And a big shout out to my friend Allison, the owner. I just want to thank you for believing in me and believing in the Dreamer's Life. And you're going to see some changes coming up after the first of the year. And I'm hoping that you'll be pleased. So, to move on, I also want to give a big shout out to the High Voltage Video Magazine on Facebook, J Lambs Remy. Thank you, brother, for the 12 months of features. Everybody coming in, go to my links, go to my social media, and there you'll find the High Voltage Video Magazine. Also, I want to give a quick shout out to the Essential Guitarist group on Facebook, Bill Eagleson. I have been admin there for the last couple of years. And I just want to say thank you for Bill for giving me your time and believing in me. You're awesome. Also, I just want to say thank you to all the brands that have worked with me this year and all the artists that have worked with me this year. 2022 has been a great year of live interviews, which leads me to the next thing on my sheet. After today's show, after today's interview, I will just be doing recorded interviews for the rest of the year. Well, as you all know, life changes and you got to roll with it so that you don't get rolled over, right? Well, I'm still doing interviews. I will still post content on the Dreamer's Life on YouTube. And, hang with me, everybody. And if you like to be interviewed on the show, please, between now and the end of the year, please send me a private message or email me at hangingwiththedreamer@gmail.com. Most importantly, all brands can contact me by emailing me again at hangingwiththedreamer@gmail.com. And then lastly, I just want to encourage everybody in the chat, say hi to Roland. Say hi to Mr. Roland James, because I have a special treat in store for everybody. And this is a great way to end off my live broadcast for the rest of the year. But as I said, I will be posting recorded interviews every week thereafter. So say hi in the chat. Welcome to the show. Stay with us for a bit and say hi to Mr. Roland James. Hey, Roland, how are you?
Hey, I'm great, Dreamer. How about yourself, buddy?
What's
going on, man?
I am fantastic.
Cool, man.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having me here, man. It's I didn't realize that this was the last episode of the season. I'm privileged. Thank you.
Well, I got a few things to work out. And I'll just be and I will still be doing recorded interviews and still posting every week. But as far as live goes, yeah.
Right on,
this
man.
is it.
Right on. How's LA doing? How's LA doing?
Disappearing and appearing. Yeah.
Kind of like you are on the video screen, man.
Yeah. This is a great thing here. Yeah, I love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right
I'm having a flashback, man. Wow, that's pretty crazy. So
cool. Yeah, right on. Again, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
I'm really glad that Dennis over at Southern Sounds Guitars introduced us, man. I'm glad that happened. And
so
glad
am
to
I.
be here today. And yeah. Right on. So
There
fire
we
away,
go.
man.
That's
What you
better.
got? What you thinking?
Well,
Yeah.
what I'm thinking is what is the inspiration?
Hanging with the Dreamer.
Yes, sir. And I'm hanging with Mr. Roland James of American
That's
Headtrip.
correct.
So tell me about American Headtrip.
Yeah.
What is the inspiration behind the title American Headtrip? Or is it something that you're leaving to open interpretation?
Well, I'll tell. At the time, I was living in West Hollywood. American Headtrip was born in West Hollywood. Pretty basically, it just got down to the wire for a band, and I recall that David Bowie had used to put lyrics to songs sometimes by grabbing magazines and grabbing articles and cutting out all the words and putting them into a hat and shaking them up and grabbing the words out and placing them together. And if they fit right, he kept it. So that's basically what we did with American Headtrip. We just put I think it was combination of Sports Illustrated and Playboy. We took some articles out and, well, of course, we read only the articles in Playboy, but we cut those out, put the words in the hat, and after about 6 or 7 pulls, I can't remember the exact order, we ended up with American Headtrip, and we just said, let's let's roll with that. So I don't know if you want to call it inspiration or whatnot. I would call it just a thing of playing. Like, yeah, I don't know if it's. I'd have to say David Bowie would just be the inspiration on how we named the band.
Phenomenal.
American Headtrip. Yeah. So it's worked out really cool, and I like it. It rolls off the tongue very well, and yeah, the name was born in approximately 2006, 2007. In West Hollywood, we did do one show. I don't know how long you've been in the LA area, Dreamer, or not, but back in the day, when I say the day, probably like in the mid to late 90s on Melrose, there was a club called The Gig, and we got the opportunity to do one show and one show only as American Headtrip. At the time, I was only playing guitar. We had a singer. The existing music that you hear now was not under the umbrella at the time. The material was all written by the singer at the time. So, but basically the name and the colors and everything was mine. So when it disbanded, I just pretty basically took that with me and kind of put it on the shelf for a little while.
Well, that is, thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, man. Yep.
The American Headtrip, when I first read or when I first heard the music of American Headtrip, I immediately was drawn to the whole simple 3 chord vibe, rockin' vibe. It just makes you feel great, you know.
Absolutely.
Whether you're a hardcore junkyard lover like me, or whether you're a hardcore, whatever music that that you're into, when you hear that 2-3 chord rock and roll, it moves your soul, it moves your spirit, you know.
It really does. I think we grew up on that style of music, and back then that was kind of the extreme. There was no all the subcategories of music that there are today, and so we grew up on that stuff, and so as other subcategories developed, we kind of lost our path of where we came from, and there was a lot of good music that was put out in the 90s and the 2000s, the grunge era. I love Soundgarden and Alice in Chains and some of the rock orientated bands of that era. But the 3-chord AC/DC, Motley Crue, Kiss, good time, fun time rock and roll kind of got put on the back burner, not only by the industry, but I think by the consumers and by the markets. They were so into the new stuff. But music and fashion and food and everything, movies, it's a revolving circle, and I think it's kind of revolving back now again to that same type of vibe and music that we grew up to, and I think that's what people are starting to want to hear again. So I'm just hoping we're at the right place at the right time. But obviously we're doing this type of 3-chord rock and roll is because that's what we were raised on. It's what we love to do, and that's what we want to do, man.
Yeah. Hi, Heather. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Heather.
How's it going? How are you feeling, Heather? It's good to see you. I'm really happy you're here, Heather. Thank you. Well, on the news, good rock and roll, Heather. This is for you. This is American Headtrip. And this little ditty is called Locked and Loaded. And it just happens, as Mr. James was telling me, this happens to be a favorite, a growing crowd favorite.
It is. And it's the last one we put on the album, so to speak. It's our most recent recording.
Well, enjoy, Heather. This is for you. Let's see. Heather. Enjoying it immensely. Awesome. Thank you for being here, Heather. Get
Yeah,
your
thanks,
rock
Heather.
on.
Yeah, let's get ready to rock. Let's get ready to rock it out.
Let's rock it up. I can't start there. My conscience won't let me.
It wasn't a bad one, but hey, let's go anyways. Yeah.
Enjoy, Heather. Crank it up. Get your rock on.
Absolutely. Get ready to get your rock on. Yeah,
Man.
baby.
I could.
We live in a world full of media.
Okay. Anyway, I could rock to that all day.
Thanks, brother.
I could plug something in, just rock to that all day. I love that. What do you think,
man.
Heather?
I hope you enjoyed, man. Hope you enjoyed. Heather,
That's
I hope you
awesome.
liked it as well, man. Yeah. Very cool.
Heather, shout out in the chat. That rocks. Yeah.
Right on,
Yeah,
Heather.
it
Thank you.
does. It does.
It does.
Awesome.
It does. Yeah.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I ran into a video of yours
Okay.
that I I was kind of it really intrigued me to
Hmm.
it really intrigued me, and that was Devil's Road.
Now, you said video. Video? Question mark.
Oh, actually, a there it is. Uh, yeah, it's on YouTube, but
Oh, okay. Is it
it's
just
just
is it a song or is it a footage of a performance?
no, no, no.
Okay. Okay.
It's just a sound.
Gotcha. Okay.
So Heather, hang tight.
So yeah, Devil's Road. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a Devil's Road.
it
Let
is.
me, let me, for sure. Let me, definitely for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
it's no lie. It's a story that's been passed down generations, and
yes, it is.
mhm.
So tell me, what is your, while I'm pulling this video in,
Yeah, man.
what, what is what's your take on, what's your take on Devil's Road?
Um, I think it's a combination of experience in my musical career, and it's also partly a combination of um, phew, that's a great question. But again, it's definitely it's influenced by some of my experiences in life, and it's just also the kind of things that people like to hear about, I guess, so to speak. They like to hear, about really cool stories and rock and roll flavored stories, I guess. We're all intrigued by the devil and the Devil's Road and the Crossroads and all that stuff. So it's
Yeah.
influenced again by that, and then also it's because again, it's no lie. At whatever level you're at, whether you're at a level of a band that's a garage band or a bar band or a band like American Headtrip right now that's kind of like in between that and possibly maybe being a national band. But at all levels, all the bands experience hard times and good times with girls and substances and all that stuff. So it's definitely a universal language, so to speak. This I shouldn't. It's not necessarily a universal language, but a universal story, I should say.
So the
It's
first thing I
it's.
thought of,
Mhm.
the thank you. The first thing I thought of, sir, was when I first watched this video. And I'm always dialing in on the lyrics, and just so
Sure.
I could dive deep into what's really going on and pick up what the artist is trying to say. As I delved into these lyrics, the first thing that came to my mind was Robert Johnson.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, the and what's the opening line is, the devil went down to Georgia, which is obviously stolen from Charlie Daniels' band, um, but from there, the lyrics obviously change, but it's literally almost the same storyline. There's not a battle of fiddles going on, but
Yeah,
it's a story about signing a deal with the man,
yeah,
whether
yeah,
for your soul, you're
yeah,
starting for your soul, baby.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yes.
That. What are you
To say,
willing to do to get famous?
yeah, but to say Robert Johnson is very par for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, I try not to dive too deep on what the well, what the personal opinion says. I try to look for the bigger truth.
Sure.
And because to me, that's where the truth really is.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of parallels. A lot of parallels. I'm not going to mention names, but I have seen a lot of parallels
Uh-huh.
on how somebody will live their life um, and go to an extravagant extent to have fame and fortune.
Sure. That's the only
Not,
thing they have on their mind. It's the only thing they want.
you know, and it doesn't matter. Um, and it doesn't matter who they hurt.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter who thinks terrible of nothing. Nothing like that matters. All the things that would cripple a normal person's life, Um,
In their way, they have signed their deal, and that's why they are the way they are. There's really
Miserable.
there's really nothing else to influence you to do that, except for signing your soul away in some format.
Yeah, it's. I've heard so many references, but yet at the same time, that song, "Sympathy for the Devil," Stones
Sure.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a line. There's a line in there where Sir Mick lays it out nice and clear. If you run across me or if you meet me, show some sympathy and respect, or I'll lay your soul to waste. And you know what? I've had enough experiences in life to know that that's true.
Yeah.
And it's definitely nothing to take lightly by anybody, by any means, But
Yeah.
this song, Heather, is so is I have a personal attachment, well, locked and loaded, obviously, but this one right here, Devil's Road, I I get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
I hope
So
it makes people think,
I hope
Yeah,
it
but
does too, sir.
because you are in control of not going down that road. And that's
Yeah.
that song is really more about not going down that road than it appears to be to go down that road.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Better get the hell out of here before I head down the devil's road,
Yes, sir.
because if you don't get out while the getting's good, or as Kenny Rogers would say, if you don't know when to hold them or know when to fold them,
Yeah. Yeah.
I can end up in a good situation. But
Well,
cool.
enjoy, Heather. Enough preaching by the
Here we go
dreamer.
again.
Nobody to even preach, but
We're hanging.
and just hanging, having a chat. Heather,
That's right.
this is Devil's Road. Please enjoy it. And like you always do, the proud supporter of the Dreamers. And hi, Bowie. The proud supporter of the Dreamers, and now hopefully proud supporter of Mr. Roland James and American Headtrip. Enjoy. This
Thank
is
you.
the Devil's Road.
Thank you,
Get through
Jimmy.
the commercial. Ad time. It's
You getting
important.
paid for this? I hope so.
No, sir. No, I'm afraid not.
Somebody
I wish
else,
I was.
Not us. Yeah. That'd be pretty
Not,
damn cool.
not yet. What am I thinking? Okay, well, this is. I know better. This
Still
is
coming,
the
Heather, we
Devil's.
promise.
This is good. It's coming. I'm sorry, Heather. This is for you. Here you go, Heather. Devil's Road, American Head Trip. Enjoy. Ah!
Thank
Let's
you.
see. Get through the
But first, enjoy the commercial. There you go.
Devil went down to Georgia, but he didn't have a soul to steal. So I took him on down for a drink or two, and he said, let's make a deal. Grabbed my stool and sat right up and asked what you got in mind. He said, don't worry, son, just sign on the dotted line. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Right on down the devil's road. Smoking and drinking that whiskey, there's a lot of women around, passing around that bottle like we own this fucking town. Next thing I know, it's 2 a.m. and it's time to hit the road. Better get out of here while the getting's good and head down the devil's road. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Right on down the devil's road. Smoking and drinking that whiskey, there's a lot of women around, passing around that bottle like we own this fucking town. Next thing I know, it's 2 a.m. and it's time to hit the road. Better get out of here while the getting's good and head down the devil's road. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Right on down the devil's road. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Right on down the devil's road. Devil's road.
Devil's Road. Yep.
All
You
right.
now own 1 square foot.
Yep. 1 square foot. Funny.
Yep.
Oh
That
boy.
works.
Only live.
Right.
Live. Do you know that term? Well, I'm sure you do. Heather said, "Very cool. Thanks,
Hey,
Heather."
thanks, Heather. Thanks again. Thanks for hanging.
That I wanted to go back up real quick. Pooh Ninja's here. Wait, we're getting paid for what now? I'm a guitarist. It seems like we never get paid.
Never. It's never. Yeah.
I'm just laughing. Thanks for being here, Pooh, man. So, you have a question about American Head Trip? This is the man to ask.
Absolutely.
Shout out in the chat.
Sure.
This is gonna be my last live chat, Pooh. Till the first of the year, I'm doing recorded interviews every week and posting every week. So my social media presence will be the same. But this is it. This is your chance, Pooh. Check out American Head Trip, man.
Absolutely. You can go to AmericanHeadTrip76.com to keep listening to it. You can buy it. You can stream it. In fact, at the end of the show, though, I'm gonna just give everybody a way to download it for free. So stick around everyone that's watching now, present time, future, and whatnot. If you're seeing this, I'm going to give you a way to go ahead and get a hold of me, and we'll get that album out to you for free. We just love for you guys just to rock out to it. And come see us when we come to your town.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, there's a place, and thank you very much, Roland.
Yeah, man.
There's a place here in Glendora, California, called Route 66 Clubhouse. And before the pandemic did its wipeout job on everybody and everything,
Sure.
they were having bands there. So they were booking live bands, and but so maybe, you know, cast a stone to the stars and see where it lands. You know,
But yeah, we're always down for that. Yeah.
check out the Route 66 Clubhouse. I'll be there. You know, that's my old hangout.
Cool. And that was in Glendora, you said?
Yep. Yes, sir. Glendora, California.
Yep.
Check them out.
I will.
The Heather. Let's see. Wow. Thanks, Roland. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely,
Thanks,
Heather.
Heather.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool. So, who are the members in American Headtrip?
You know, that's well, obviously it's myself, singing and playing guitar. Right now, my drummer is Dan Johnson. Right now, I'm utilizing different bass players right now, so we're kind of, I guess we're filling out different people for the bass position spot. So we're not 100% sure on who's going to be the solid person, but we've been utilizing some really cool people that have been willing to help us out to do shows and stuff until we find that right person. One of them is Lance Eric from a band here in Phoenix as well called Color of Chaos. He was also in a band called Bang Tango for a little while. And then we're also utilizing another bass player here in Phoenix for a band called 10 Cent Revenge. And so we've done, I think we're going on show number 5, and this will actually be the 5th bass player for this show coming up. Rusty Workman's going to be playing bass for this one. On the recordings, I basically just I think out of the 12 songs, I did everything myself, and then the bass players that I just mentioned brought them into the studio to do a couple of tracks on bass as well. So, but for the most part, I'm pretty self-sufficient in the studio. And again, it's myself, Dan Johnson, and utilizing some different bass players until we find out exactly who's going to fulfill that position. And we're also still leaving the possibility open of adding another guitar player. For the most part, we've been functioning as a 3-piece, which is working out really well. But we're open to the 4-piece thing, which I actually prefer myself. So out of the 4 shows, we've done 3 shows as a 3-piece, and 1 show as a 4-piece. So that's kind of where we're at with the lineup right now. Yeah, it's kind of building an airplane while it's already in the air, so to speak. But it's working out, it's working out. Rock and roll, man.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I remember there was, even though we're in a different time and space of time now, 2022, I remember even as early as as late as 2000, some of the stories that I've been hearing from the road, there's a lot of bands that do that. And that's, keep developing, even though you're making stride and you're picking up pace. You're still developing. You're still fine tuning, and
Yeah.
that is a mark of a true professional. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And speaking of which, American Head Trip just got done with a tour with LA Guns. Is that correct?
Actually, we did not get done doing a tour with LA Guns, but we are going to be doing a show with LA Guns coming up here in December. Um, yeah, so uh, I apologize that you somehow got that information, but that no, we did not do any touring with LA Guns at this point in time. Um, Certainly something we'd love to do, though. Um, but yeah, we do a show with them here in Tempe, Arizona in December. It'll be our fifth show. As Other than the one show we did about 11, 12 years ago in West Hollywood, here as a Phoenix band, we've only done 5 shows. So, and that includes the one coming up in December. But yeah, that to tour with LA Guns would be a good time. I have toured with LA Guns on a different platform. At one time, I was a guitar technician for the band Dawkin.
That yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and in 2002, I believe, yeah, it was 2002. It was the Metal Edge magazine tour fest, I guess, and it was Dawkin, LA Guns, Warrant, Rat, and Firehouse. So in that aspect, I have toured with LA Guns.
Well, thank you for clarification, sir.
Oh yeah, no worries, man.
Sorry about the wrong information.
No, you're good. Yeah.
So, what is your background, Heather? Pooh Ninja? Enjoy this. What is your background in the music industry?
Background in the music industry. On as far as like maybe background in the music industry, as far as working for a record label or whatnot, I can tell you my experience in the music industry so far.
Yes.
Obviously,
Yes, sir.
started
Thank you.
out, yeah, started out as a young kid wanting to be a rock star. And obviously that led to picking up an instrument and getting into bands throughout my lifetime, whether I was living in Seattle or LA or Las Vegas or here in Phoenix. I've definitely have had different levels of success as a musician and also in front of the back line. Like I said, or behind the back line, I should say. Like I said, I've got some background or experiences. I'm touring as a guitar technician for bands and stuff, so I got that part. I've got that side of the experience behind the back line and also in front of the back line as a musician. I've had a couple record deals in my time. Nothing to really brag about, but this since I've good. If we had 3 or 4 more hours, I could go into detail on all of it. We could go bit by bit if you want, but it's quite the story.
Oh yeah, I mean, what are the highlights? We can definitely do that. I mean, if you would be able to come back a second time, I would
Oh,
love to do a
absolutely.
more in
Yeah.
depth.
I'll come back a bunch.
Thank you, sir. There,
Yeah. Well,
I'd like to do. I would like to do start a in-depth research type series, because I am trying to preserve our rock and roll heritage. I am trying to take this to another level,
cool.
and I am gonna start talking to artists and to bands, managers and agents and brands or whatnot, because I would like to preserve our rock and roll heritage somehow with my show. I even if it's just a tiny bit,
Yep.
but I would definitely like to do like an investigative type series, an well, I should say in-depth series on uh, your personal heritage
Gotcha.
with
Yeah.
with music, and but for um, right now, what are the highlights of your time on the road and your time touring and your time being behind the curtain, behind the scenes? What are the
Well,
highlights that you are able to share?
well, there's so many. There really is so many, Dreamer. I don't think that I can particularly pick out one. Every night was a party. Every night was a celebration. Every night was a lot of fun. Every night was a lot of new cool friends. Um, I would just say, from the point of getting on the tour bus and leaving home and getting off the tour bus and then getting home is just one amazing experience. Um, and I'll tell you that Bob Seger's song "Turn the Page" there's no exaggeration whatsoever. It's he wrote that song from I've anyone that's been on it, that's lived on a tour bus for 16 weeks, 16 years. Small towns, big towns. Yeah, you experience that. It's pretty crazy. Again, no exaggeration by Mr. Seeger. But there's just so many funny moments and great experiences. Well, I guess you know what? Actually, I guess one memory does stick out, come to think of it, and that was getting the opportunity to, pretty basically when we rolled into Dallas, Texas. I believe the festival, the Metal Edge Fest, it was at the Bronco Bowl in Dallas, Texas, and lo and behold, during sound check, who comes walking in but Vinny and Dimebag, and pretty basically they hung out until everyone had sound check was done, and they insisted that we all go to their house and barbecue and party and have a good time, because the show wasn't actually until the night before or the night after. We had set up the day before, so we had the night off and pretty basically most of the day off the following day. So it was cool. They came and took the whole entourage from all the camps and took us to their world famous strip bar for a while, and then we went to Dime's house and had a hell of a time. So that's definitely specifically during that tour, that's definitely one big memory that sticks out. Yes, sir.
The videos, and thank you for sharing that also.
Yeah, man, sure.
The videos that I've seen of inside of Dime's house, I can only imagine what kind of a great time
Yeah.
that I know personally, if I would have been able to experience that, I probably wouldn't want to leave.
It's yeah. After about day number 2, you are ready to leave though. You're like, I gotta get out of here. Yeah. A lot of Crown and a lot of Coors Light. That's all I gotta say. After a couple of days of that, you're ready to go dry out for a day.
Well, I can appreciate
But yeah, that was what a great time. What a great experience. But other than that, like I said, everything's really just meshed into one big ball of a great experience. Really is. It was. Um, it was really cool too. For a little while, when I was living in Seattle, I had the opportunity to um, do the same type of work for a couple of weeks for Alice in Chains, actually, and that was in
Awesome.
between. Yeah, it was right before the Dirt tour started. Mike Starr, the bass player at the time, his bass player Randy was still out with Ozzy touring somewhere, so his bass player wasn't available. The band that I was in at the time wasn't doing anything, and um, Mike and I knew each other just by first name and bar acquaintances. And he's like, "Hey, you want to go out for a couple of weeks and help me, hand me my basses and light cigarettes and stuff for me?" And I was like, "Sure, let's go." So I got the opportunity to do that too. Um, that was another being in a small van for about a week and a half to almost 2 weeks with those guys was pretty cool. It
Right.
wasn't a bus; it was a really small 40 Econoline van. So we got really personal, got to know each other pretty well in a short amount of time. It was really getting to know Lane and Jerry and everybody. It was really cool.
You know, have you, speaking of Alice in Chains, have you seen the special that was telecasted from from the Museum of Pop Culture and Art in Seattle, Washington, that
I
that that inducted Alice in Chains?
Yeah, I think at one time that was Paul Allen's Experience Museum, and I think they changed the name. I think that might be the same venue or facility, whatever you may want to call it. But yeah, I had heard about that.
It would having all these artists perform their some most classic hits was so. I just sat there. It was like 3.5 hours. I just sat there. My mouth was open the whole entire time. I was just like,
Wow,
wow.
wow,
The
that
impact.
actually, yeah, for sure. I could imagine. I could imagine. I'm sure it. Yeah, I'm sure it was kind of heavy.
It was amazing. And the stories, um, old videos of Mike Starr and Lane Staley in New Orleans.
Yeah,
And oh my God.
yeah. That's actually right behind me there in that picture in that lower frame. That's a birthday card. That's my birthday card. We were out when we were out on tour. It was during my birthday, and they actually all signed a birthday card for me. So I actually still have that. So that was all. That was signed. That's probably I can't remember what year it was, but again, it was right before the big Dirt tour started. But yeah, it's a pretty cool memory.
You know, people could say what they want, about Alice in Chains or whatever, but I'll tell you what, even with the addition of William Duvall, it was like it's just absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah,
You
yeah. I
know,
think Jerry did a really good job. John and Sherry, excuse me, Sean and Jerry both um, did a really good job of um, bringing the right guy in without compromising or tarnishing the Alice in Chains name.
that's
That's my
awesome.
opinion. I know that some people feel different about that, but I think it's a job well done.
Oh yeah,
I think Lane would be pretty happy. I think he'd be
the
happy for the guys.
the
Pretty
first time
pretty
I
confident.
yes sir, the first time that I heard Black Gives Way to Blue, and I was just like, oh my God, man.
Yeah,
First thing I thought was Lane, and then during the Mopar induction ceremony, their manager, longtime agent, whose daughter performed with Chris DeGarmo of all people,
yeah,
and they performed "Black Is Way to Blue," and it was one of life's most beautiful full circles. Um, to see their longtime manager's daughter playing piano and singing with Chris DeGarmo in the background. You know, he
Yeah.
wanted the spotlight to be on her, and he was definitely in the background, and
Huh.
his heart was pure, and it was beautiful, and it was just like, my gosh, man. And then hearing the story of of what the song Black Gives Way to Blue is really all about. It just my God, man.
Yeah. Yep.
You just, oh, you know. And
Yep.
I hear shades and like one thing about Devil's Road I really like from yourself and American Head Trip is the slide and the um, the whole arrangement
Cool, man. Thank you. Appreciate
has
that.
a real just now. I don't like comparing other artists' music to somebody else, but
Understandable.
I don't think that's fair. But to the artist, but um, I do. I well, who?
Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Who?
Uh-huh.
Who are your musical influences, Roland?
Well, definitely Kiss. Huge Kiss fan. Um, those were that's yeah, Kiss. That's definitely what broke my teeth, or however you want to say it. That really brought me into rock and roll and going, yeah, that's what they're doing is what I want to do.
Mm.
And but at first I was very, very one dimensional, and I wouldn't listen to anything else but Kiss. If it wasn't Kiss, it wasn't good. Um, but later down the line, it definitely Kiss helped me. Um, it opened up doors. It did eventually. I mean, coming to like in bands like Van Halen and Led Zeppelin and April Wine and Molly Hatchet, and so I grew up in the '70s and the '80s. So I like a lot of good hard rock from the '70s and '80s, from Led Zeppelin to Motley Crue to. So I'm very, very influenced by a lot of different bands, a lot of different styles of rock and roll. But you'll hear in the American Head Trip music that there's a lot of Kiss and Ace Frehley DNA in it, a lot. And you'll hear hints of AC/DC and another and a couple, and maybe Motley Crue. But yeah, those are definitely my main big influences in this guess. And just anything that was really cool in the '70s and '80s, man, I was into it. And it's all definitely um, influenced, my style of music and whatnot. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
How about yourself?
So,
Yeah. How about yourself?
yeah, I'm a '70s baby. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah.
song remains the same.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Violin bow, theremin,
Hmm.
multiple colored staffs guy.
Right on.
The best way I could put it is I'm a '70s baby. I'm a Foghat, Uriah Heep.
Yeah. Yeah. For
Um,
sure.
into the
Clapton,
'80s,
Hendrix. Yep.
Clapton, Hendrix, going
Yep. Blue
back
Oyster
to even,
Cult.
yeah, yes, sir, going back to Les Paul and Mary Ford.
There you go.
You know, I had a my fondest memories were being a child, sitting in the kitchen with my dearly departed mother, and one of my fondest memories of her and I sitting in the kitchen of our tiny little 2-bedroom house in Los Angeles. All the lights were off in the house because didn't want to wake anybody up. And there we were sitting on these hard, terrible chairs, listening to a hand-me-down radio, and just sitting there and grooving to Les Paul and Mary Ford all
Wow.
night long. You know,
Wow. Wow.
you know, and then that's where I started to realize that wait a minute. Yeah, it got me thinking even when I was a kid, like going, wow,
Yeah.
this kind of makes me feel good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then into my teens, the Floyds, Pink Floyd, Zeppelin, the Who,
Yeah.
going to see Tommy, the Who movie Tommy,
Yep. Yep.
with
remember
Roger
the movie
Daltrey. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir Elton John with the Pinball Wizard.
Yeah. And Margaret was the mom.
Yes,
Was
sir.
Tommy's mom. Yeah.
No.
Yep.
And then going back and seeing Quadrophenia,
Oh
you
wow.
know.
Yeah.
But to cap it off, was definitely Led Zeppelin's Song Remains the Same. And that's when I knew that music had a deeper meaning in my life.
Gotcha.
And especially with Mr. Page's violimbo solo. You know, I and then pictures of Loch Ness in Scotland.
Yeah.
And I bring that up because my bloodline is 18th century Scottish.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And I went to Loch Ness. I have pictures I could show you sometime.
Yeah, that's the Loch Ness. Isn't the Crowley castle in that area as well?
Yeah,
Excuse me.
the south end of the loch.
Yeah.
Funny thing. Well, it's not funny. It's just the way stars lined up.
Sure.
At that same exact time that my sister and I were in Scotland, we were at Loch Ness. I went out. You know, my sister said, "Don't be gone too long. We're getting up, whether it's raining or snowing or whatever, but we're getting up. I got a rent-a-car all set up, and we're gonna go up to Loch Ness. So you go out tonight. Don't be out all night." So, okay.
Okay, I'll be out all night then. Yeah.
So there I go walking.
Did you tell me to stay out all night? Okay.
Yeah. There I go walking. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
There I went walking across Inverness Bridge.
Oh wow.
The sky's black. Just pouring rain. The sky's getting real dark. And it looks like it's getting rain because there's a rainstorm earlier that day. So the streets were all wet. And you couldn't even see the lights. I look up on the hill and I see Inverness Castle. And I'm like going, I'm thinking to myself, I want to go up there right now. And I'm thinking, but why is it black? Why are there purple lights shining up on the side of it? What's going on here? So I bookmarked that in the back of my head. Now keep in mind, boy, I was fully ready to do what I had to do to go up to that castle. Okay? So I was sitting in Inverness pub with the owner. And the pub closed, 2 o'clock in the morning. Me and the owner were sitting there. Now, keep in mind, I'd been there all night.
Yep.
So
You're
everybody's
feeling
gone.
courageous. Yep.
Yes, yes. Ev- to check this out, yeah. And you hit the nail right on the head, sir.
Yep.
And I was sitting there with the owner of the Inverness pub while everybody was gone. The pub's getting dark, and he had a bottle of this this old vintage Scottish whiskey, and like I said, I've been there all night. The last thing I wanted to do was to drink more, and but I didn't want to be rude, right?
Of course not.
So I'm a visitor in his town, in his world, so I want to be respectful.
Sure.
He asked me, "Who am I?" And I told him, I bloodline to ancient turn of the century Scotland, and my bloodline has led me here to Inverness. I guess he took a liking to me because after the pub closed, and I was sitting there, I said, "Thank you, sir. Thank you so very much for your hospitality. I really got to get going."
The
I'm like,
sister's gonna kill me.
my sister's, I said that too. I said, my
Yeah.
sister's going to kill me. So he goes, "No, no, sit down, let's talk. In his Scottish accent. I'm like, okay.
So you didn't say I got to get out before I head down the Devil's Road.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that.
I got to get out while the getting's good.
So I sat down and we started
Yep.
talking. He goes, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm supposed to go up to Loch Ness in about 5 hours." "Here, have a shot." Okay.
Yep.
And so he said, "So you want to know about the Kelpie, the loch?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I would like to." But I said, "Before you tell me about the Kelpie and the loch, what's the deal with Inverness Castle being black and purple light shining up on it?" He goes, "Oh, I don't want to talk about that." And I said, "Why? Why don't you? Come on, you can tell me why. You know, I'm not going to report you to the constable. Why, sir? I like you. Why would I do that? What?" He goes, "Don't go up there." I said, "Don't go up there?" He said, "The road's blocked off. Somebody is remodeling the castle." I'm like, "What's going to happen if I wander up there?" And he goes, "You'll get arrested." And I said, I'm thinking of dreamer.
Here we go.
Oh, dreamer, what are you gonna do? So, I'm this young impressionable kid. So I'm like, okay, so I won't go up there. So I never did go up there, but I sure stood on Inverness Bridge staring up at it for a while when I finally left the Inverness pub. And I'm like going, something's going on. I'm thinking something's going on up there. So we drank his whole bottle of age old whiskey, and I threw some water in my face and I started making my way back to the hotel. So I got back to the hotel and I just collapsed in my room. I was out and whatever. And next thing I know, I hear a loud knock on the door. Here's my sister. Time to get up. I told you, do not stay out long. Come on, let's go. Okay, I'm on my way. So, I've been pulling this stunt all through Europe, right? But that was the last straw. And it was also the end of our vacation, too.
Gotcha.
And so we got in the car. She goes, "Where'd you go last night?" I said, "Well, Inverness Pub right down the road, across the bridge." And she goes, "You okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm all right." So it was storming the whole time up into the Highlands. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be cool. We got to Urquhart Castle, and that's the pictures I have to show you sometime.
Yeah, man.
If you ever want to see them.
Yeah.
And I would be happy, I'd be blessed to share with you.
Yeah, man.
And
on the Facebook at least.
this was a memorable time in my life.
Right on.
I gotta tell you, the sky was black. The Loch Ness was covered in fog. The hills on the other side of the loch were black, covered in fog.
There's this right out of it sounds pretty surreal.
It was very surreal.
Yeah, like right out of the movie.
It was. I was just like, wow, man.
Yeah.
I looked at her. I said, "Do you think the monster?" I said, "Do you think the kelpie's in the water?" And she goes, "No, what? Go down to the water. I'm going to go up your car tower." She's telling me, "Go down to the water. You want to find out? Go down to the water." I'm like, "Don't need to tell me twice,
No,
And
yeah, no, thank you. No,
here we go. So, typical dreamer fashion. Oh, okay.
Into the water.
Heading to the water. So out to the water I went. I got to the water's edge. I couldn't see nothing. The sky was black. All I could see was fog and edges of the shoreline.
Yeah.
I look up at the top of the tower. I said, "Paula, are you up there?" And she goes, "Yeah, I can't see anything." So I said, "Okay." So I dubbed my head into the water. And when I stuck my head under the water of Loch Ness, I heard these noises. And then I heard, I whipped my head out of the water, and the sun's out. All the fog is gone. The sky's blue. The birds are singing. It's getting warm, and all this happened within 3 seconds, 4 seconds.
Wow.
And she goes, "Did you just put your head under the water?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Do you see anything?" And she goes, right out about 25 yards out in the bay, the water's acting weird. I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "It's just these ripples popped out of nowhere." And I'm thinking to myself, I knew she was real.
I knew she was real.
I knew she was real. And of course, when I share this story, people think I'm just out of my mind, But
That's crazy,
so
man.
all's well that ends well. We had a great time in Loch Ness, and so we get back home. And I'm sorry if I'm dragging this out too long.
You're good, man. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, go.
Get back home. Thank you, sir. I get back home. About 3 weeks later, I'm reading Hit Parader magazine. On the cover of Hit Parader magazine is Jimmy Page. That's why I'm reading it, right? So I'm reading, and in the article, the interviewer for Hit Parader was asking him a question about his favorite houses that he's owned. And wouldn't you know it, keep in mind, this was 3 weeks after I got home.
Yeah, lo and behold.
Lo and behold, Jimmy Page talked about Boleskine, the Boleskine house, and talked about on the southern shores of Loch Ness, in the town of Foyers. And he said, I bought this home, the Boleskine house in Scotland. And I also bought Inverness Castle. And he's saying this, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh. The reason why Inverness Castle was blocked off is because Jimmy Page was remodeling it.
Nice call. Putting it all together, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. Yeah.
I
You're like, God damn it, I didn't go up there.
I was there, man. You know, wow. And he was on Boleskine, because that was, see, Crowley owned Inverness Castle at one time.
Uh-huh.
So they sold Inverness Castle and he bought Boleskine. So I'm kind of a Crowley biographer type.
Yeah.
So what's crazy is that Jimmy Page himself owned Inverness Castle and owned the Boleskine Mansion, the Boleskine House on the southern end of the loch. The same exact time that me and my sister were in Inverness, Scotland.
You guys were right there. Yeah.
We were right there.
Yep.
I gotta tell you.
He's probably been in that very pub.
Yeah. Yeah. And
the pub owner probably knew exactly who. You just didn't say who exactly. You didn't drop any names, but he knew exactly.
Yeah.
He knew exactly who was up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I gotta tell you, that is something that the history of the world will never erase.
Yeah. For sure.
And that's something that was such a turning point in my life. That this morning, and we're talking about guitar, which I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you about
Sure.
your dean right behind you. Thank you. I watched the performance from 73, 74, Zeppelin doing Dazed and Confused. And it wasn't at Madison Square Garden. It wasn't part of Song Remains the Same. This was a totally different version because they totally changed up the arrangement. They kept the chord parts about the same, but then there was like this open jam at the beginning, an open jam in the middle, an open jam at the end that totally makes it a different version than Song Remains the Same.
I'm sure they enjoyed doing that every once in a while to get away from the regimen of playing in the same way all the time.
They're they were notorious for doing that.
Yeah.
They were that good.
Yeah, for sure.
That they'd be able to just, John Bonham would look over at Page and hit a cymbal. Page knew exactly what he was getting ready to do.
Yep.
And, because if you watch these live performances, Robert Plant and John Paul Jones are always staring. That everybody's always staring at each other.
It's all communication, mind telepathy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's real. It's magic. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, man.
Did I ever send you the video of how how I actually became the dreamer?
No, actually, I have not seen that. You'll have to send that message that to me over on the Facebook. I got
I'm
the
gonna.
link. I got the link you sent me for the song remains the same thing, but I haven't checked that out yet.
Well, let me tell you, the violin bow solo in this version, Dazed and Confused,
Pretty badass, huh?
they,
Cool.
I'm still like going,
Yeah. You know who's
you know,
implementing that now is Tracy Guns is doing that a lot.
yes,
He's
he
been
is.
implementing
And
the bow
also,
now. But he'll be the first one to
yes,
tell you he's influenced by Jimmy Page's bow work,
yes,
and that's
sir.
why he does it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the theremin. And also, I've
The
seen
Thurman.
Dario Lorena from Black Label Society, just one picture of him playing a violin bow on a
Really?
Wild Audio Viking V.
Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's a life changing.
Yeah.
So that custom Dean that's sitting right behind you, what kind of a Dean is that?
This is, actually is a Dean Flying V. It is been sitting here talking about Tracy Gunn so much. It is
Yeah,
this is the Tracy Gunn signature model Flying
right
V.
on.
Yeah. As you can see, headstock's got nice little pinstripe work on it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I took out the stock pickups and
Amazing.
put in the Seth Lover PAFs.
Hmm.
So I got those in there. It gives it a little bit more of a warmer, less Paul sound and not so high ND. Um, I don't want to say metal, but just these just make it sound a little bit warmer, which I like. Um, Kind of interesting how the toggle switch is here up on the top, and then also the input jack is up here on the top as well. But yeah, it's a pretty cool guitar. Again, it's the Dean Tracy Guns signature. Um,
Beautiful.
yeah, I primarily like to play Deans. I have two more Dean Flying V's over in the other room. One of them's a 30th anniversary, and then the other one is just a regular Dean ML. I think it's a Chicago series, I want to say. And then I have an Epiphone Les Paul Standard. So those are my four guitars right now, and it might grow a little bit more. We'll see what happens, but I'm pretty content with these four. If Dean wants to
Outstanding.
send me a truckload of guitars, I'll say yes. But yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a great guitar. I'm looking forward to playing it December 10th with LA Guns. Um, and I know Tracy fairly well, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see this guitar in his hands, it being his signature model and whatnot. So, but yeah, thanks for asking.
Well, I I love Tracy Guns, his style
Yeah,
and his phrasing. Um, I'm glad he's still active.
I am.
I
I am too. I am too.
you
He's
know
a good guy. He can just like anybody else. We're all human. He can be caught on a bad day, but for the most part, he's a really cool guy.
yes
Um, and his guitar playing is phenomenal. I like the way that he can kind of take the Jimmy Page and also, God, if I didn't know any better, I mean, just sometimes like it's he can take a Jimmy Page, and I'm not too sure which guitar I'm trying to have in mind, but just to take that, it's kind of a crossover with being able to bring in a metal influence and sound, and collaborating it with an older sound, a Jimmy Page sound, and I think that Tracy brings that to the table, and that's definitely what makes him what he is. Wow, I'm just realizing that as I'm saying that. But he's really like taking the 70s and the 90s and putting it together. I don't want to say Dimebag or anyone too out of control, but he brings those two elements well together and makes it sound as one with style.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Um, before I got my ISP Theta Pro processor, um, that's the processor that I use to do all the music for my show and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Um, my intro videos and whatnot. Um, I was going to get Head Rush. And because I saw Tracy Guns have one,
Right.
and he broke down an in-depth look at it for a magazine, and I saw that interview, and I thought, man, this thing's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
but I didn't end up getting it. I did end up getting the ISP Theta Pro.
ISP. Yeah.
Michael Sweet edition. That this thing,
That's ISP Electronics, correct?
yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
ISP. I gotta tell you, I absolutely love the ISP Theta Max.
Dude, they're a great manufacturer. I use two of their foot pedals for my noise reduction. The Decimator. I have two of the Decimator 2 G strings. So yeah, ISP Electronics, they put out a good product.
And the guitars, well, I run the ISP Theta Pro MSX. I run it straight into my Persona's SL AR12 mixer. And for this show and for every other broadcast, I'm using the Presonus Revelator mic.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
I hope it's coming across clear for you.
Absolutely clear as crystal clear.
Awesome. And guitars wise, there is a brand I did want to tell you about, if I may.
Yeah.
They're called All in One. What I'll do is I'll send you a link to their website.
Yeah, please do.
A small town, like a small mom and pop shop
Gotcha.
in downtown LA in Koreatown.
Cool.
And let me tell you, when you look at these guitars, I really hope that you'll see what I'm trying to say.
Oh,
It's that
yeah.
they look like, and the craftsmanship is just as good, and they look like a custom made USA $3,500 custom Gibson or
Wow.
custom guitar
Uh-huh.
for a fraction of the price.
Wow.
I heard about this company from Guitar Max on YouTube, and I checked them out. I ended up buying two of them,
Oh, wow.
and did absolutely players the player's guitar.
Right on. I'll have to, send me that link. I'll definitely check that out. That's from Southern Sounds Guitars got in touch with me, and I hope we might hopefully collaborate on an American Headtrip guitar.
Oh, I hope so. I would love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about something like that. He seems really, really cool.
I would. I wanted to have him on the show today, but I, every time that I'm gonna, just my way of saying thank you. I definitely want to include him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was very yeah. Heck,
Because
this wouldn't
he's
be
a
happening.
good guy.
He's a very good guy, and this cool stuff right now wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will forever be grateful to him.
Likewise.
For that.
Likewise.
But
Yeah, man.
so tell me about the link to the Music of America Headtrip?
Well, yeah, we do have our own .com site, American Headtrip 76.com. On the website, you can see all those videos on there from our show at the Marquee Theater with Great White. You can stream all 12 songs. You can buy the songs if you want. That's not really important to us. We just want to get the music in your hands and make your ears happy, ear porn, so to speak. We for a while there, we had some T-shirts available. Those went really fast. So we're out of merchandise right now. Hopefully here in the next month or so, we'll replenish a bunch of stuff. But yeah, AmericanHeadtrip76.com. It's available 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And hope everyone drops by and takes a listen and checks it out. You can keep also posted on our shows, where we're going to be, where we've been. So yeah, that's available. We're on Facebook. Please go like us at Facebook. And anybody that's watching right now, actually, and may watch this in the future, just look me up on Facebook, Roland James, Roland James. Well, I think it says it right there. Yeah, it does. Send me a Facebook request. Send me a message. Let me know that you were watching Will's show today, The Dreamer, and I'm going to send you a code to go to our website and download all 12 songs for absolutely no cost. Just appreciate you guys watching the show today.
There you go. That's Roland James, the
Yeah,
kind gentleman.
again, thank you. Just to reiterate, and I apologize to interrupt you there, Dreamer, but yeah, just look me up on Facebook, Roland James. Send me a message that you were watching the Dreamer show today, and again, I'm going to send you that code.
Absolutely. You believe me? For those that are watching and for those that will be watching the replay, trust me, you want to hear this music. It's good.
Thank you.
Rock and roll, pure from the heart.
Yep.
Pure from the soul.
Yep.
And just, even if I wasn't a music fan, I would be like, check this stuff out. This is actually pretty cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
But, and also, almost lastly, gosh, thank you. Went way over time. Thank you.
No, we're good, man.
Thank you. Who are the brands that you would like to work with? I know you mentioned Dean. And who else? Who else would you like to work with, Roland?
The products that I buy and use are my favorites. Dean, Marshall, and naturally, I'd love to work with those people, but they got bigger fish to fry, so to speak, on their irons, especially Marshall. But I would love to work to be a part of the Dean team. But yeah, Gibson, I would love to, be endorsed by Gibson and have them send me the guitars. But unless you're Slash or Joe Perry at that type of level, or Lenny Kravitz, it's just not gonna happen. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with dreaming, right, Dreamer? There's nothing wrong with dreaming.
Got to dream. It all starts with
absolutely. So those, those are some household names. I would love to be on their team, but I'm very content with what I have right now. Thank you for asking on that one. Yeah, that's a good question.
So, who would you like to give a big shout out to?
Wow. Hi, Mom. Go with that one for starters. Hi, Mom. Wow, that's crazy. I can't think of any. Actually, I can think of so many people that it would take a while to sit here and say hi to them all. But definitely, again, want to thank Dennis for introducing us and making this show possible. So shout out to him. And South Sounds Guitars. Also like to give actually a shout out to one of our sponsors, Hooligan Swag. William Taylor up in British Columbia, Canada, would like to give you a shout out. Hooligan Swag. You will see me wearing shirts a lot in pictures with Hooligan and whatnot. They've been really good about sending us some stuff. And also, too, would like to give a big shout out to Mark Gus Scott from American Premium Vodka. They've been helping us out, sponsoring some shows, helping promote, helping spread the word. Giving us free vodka. Mark's a great guy. Mark Gus Scott was, well, as far as I'm concerned, he always will be the drummer of Trickster. He's not part of the lineup right now. But he, in my heart, he's always going to be the drummer for that band. But he's doing really well for himself, got himself busy with, American Premium Vodka, and at every level possible, he's been helping us out. So a shout out to Mark. And just other than that, a shout out to everybody, thanks to everyone that has been digging the music, sharing the music. There's a bunch of podcast stations I'd love to give a shout out to, but there's a lot of them. One specific one I will give a shout out to, of course, is Military Broadcast Radio. Appreciate them rotating our stuff. And there's just a lot of other podcast stations streaming around the world that are sharing our music. And I wish I had the time to say all of their names, but they deserve a lot of credit. Without you guys, what we're doing just doesn't go anywhere. So you guys are our vehicle, and it's greatly appreciated that there's people out there like yourself and other people doing podcast stations to help local music, underground music. Bands that are not necessarily household names, and helping them develop and head that way. It's pretty cool. So a shout out to all those people doing that too. Thank you.
That's beautiful. And to actually have the pleasure to talk to somebody who appreciates, no matter how great or small, someone's support is. No matter how great or small, so much encouragement is. It's absolutely refreshing, and I want to thank you for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure, man. Yeah.
I one of my goals for 2023 for the Dreamer's Life, and for Hanging with the Dreamers specifically, is to start broadcasting live music.
Right on, man.
I mean, up close and personal.
Right on.
With, I would like to start broadcasting live sets.
Well, we'll have to do one. We'll have to do one or two for you.
So, and thank you for that too.
Yeah, we can do them here in Phoenix and can broadcast them from where you're at.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That I would definitely welcome that, and I want everybody to know, for those that are like part of my from what I'm told, part of my underground following, for which I am very grateful for. For those that know of Hanging with the Dreamer and know of the Dreamer through High Voltage Video Magazine, whether they're listening to any good music or not, I want them to be able to experience good music in action.
Sure.
And experience the beauty and pure raw energy, primal energy of that music that we grew up with in the 70s.
Absolutely.
And American Headtrip fits right in that wheelhouse. And
we're making rock great again.
I love it. And I I can't thank you enough
Thank you.
for spending this time with me and
Yeah, man.
giving me somebody to talk to.
Cool, man. Well, as the show says, it just says hanging, hanging. And it was a pleasure hanging with you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Again, everybody, Roland James, find me on Facebook. Send me a message. Say, hey, I saw you hanging on the Dreamer, and I'm going to send you that code to download the 12 songs in appreciation of watching this today. And I can't say thank you enough for this opportunity, man. It's pretty cool.
Well, I can't thank you enough for giving you my time, and I'm sure that there will be plenty more.
I'm sure there will. I'm sure.
You and I will be able to share with each other.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Will, thank you so much for telling people about us.
Oh yeah,
It's greatly appreciated, and thank you for everybody for telling somebody about us. It's very cool. We're very, very humbled and grateful for it. Thank you.
it's awesome. It's awesome. This world needs good music.
Yeah.
Without any, and I'm not saying anything negative at all by any stretch of the
Yeah.
imagination about anything else. But I don't want to be one of those people. That's not me, and I don't want to be like that. But
Yeah. Yeah, and
um,
too, there's enough success for everybody in this world, and if we all help each other out, we'll all get there together. And it's kind of what I mean by it's really without you guys and without each other, we would have nothing to do, pretty basically. But it takes one hand to wash the other, and
it really does.
it really does. It really does. Thank you, thank you.
Well, you've been listening to your old buddy the Dreamer, hanging with the Dreamer with my very, very, very special guests.
Thank you.
Mr. Roland James of America Headtrip. Head See, I'm still thinking about that head rush process.
That's quite all right. Thank you.
Uh-oh. I got a little room on my desk still.
Everybody, thank you so much for your time, man. This has been fun.
American Headtrip. Thank you, Roland James.
Yeah.
This has been remarkable.
Yeah.
And absolutely eye-opening for me. And I hope that everybody who's hanging out hit my guests up via private message on Facebook.
Yeah, do it,
Roland
man.
James.
That's what it's for. Yeah. Let's be friends, everybody.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
So I look forward. We'll definitely have to.
Let's coordinate and get another one going for 2023 for sure.
No doubt.
Yeah. We'll get Dennis on this one too.
Yes, sir. And I will send you the link to this video.
Yes.
I will download this video, and I will send you a WeTransfer file to your email.
Sounds great.
So you can keep the raw video form of your time here with me, the Dreamer, for your resume, for your records, for your keepsakes.
Cool.
Thank you so
You're
very
welcome.
much. Thank you, everybody, and
yeah, thank you.
Please
everybody.
hit subscribe, smash that bell. The Dreamer's life's not going anywhere. So
Yoo-hoo.
I'm here. The Dreamer's here to stay. I made a deal with my higher power, and I'm not going to break that deal for anybody. So all you haters out there, and
keep hating.
Keep hating, please.
Yep.
Because that just pushes me forward.
Feed me fuel, feed me fire.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yep. That's it.
And just be strong, be positive. My final words, and if anybody could find fault with what I'm about to say, then your life must be not as happy as mine. But what I want to say is stay positive, stay loving, stay kind, let your light shine.
Yep.
Don't let the light in your heart, in your soul, be blackened out by anything or anybody, because I guarantee you it's that light and that passion that we all have as human beings is what's going to keep us alive and moving forward.
That's right. That's right.
For
And
me,
treat people the way you want to be treated.
you know, that's, yes, sir. So, on that note, please hit subscribe, smash that bell on Dreamer's Life on YouTube. Follow the like page of Hangin with Dreamer. Check out Roland James. Check out American Headtrip. Check out Locked and Loaded. Check out Devil's Road. Check out everything that American Headtrip is doing.
That's right. All right, everybody.
Support, and sign up to be my patron on Patreon for as little as $5 a month, for as little as less than a Starbucks coffee. You will have behind the scenes footage of the newest developments of the Dreamer and see what kind of mystical, magical, wondrous things that the Dreamer is discovering to give the Dreamer's Life a whole new face for 2023. So be encouraged and be kind, everybody, and keep dreaming, keep hope alive, and keep loving. Thank you, Roland James. Thank you, everybody. I will be right back. And don't forget, Metal Bed Mayhem, your one-stop shop for all things hard rock, heavy metal.
Metal Babe Mayhem is more than just an online store. It's a destination. Shine a light on me when I'm scared of the dark. MetalBabeMayhem.com carries over 150 rock and roll products, including clothing, jewelry, and accessories. For good and not for greed.
An all-new episode of Hangin with the Dreamer every Monday at 12 noon. Available wherever you stream.